All right, so my name is Dr. Yvette Bordeaux, and I am the director of the Master of Environmental Studies program at the University of Pennsylvania. And we have here today Sally Carty. Sally, do you want to say hi?
Yes, I want to say hi, and I'm just about to put hello everyone in the chat. So please make sure that you can see the chat because I'm going to be throwing lots of links at you, and you can just leave it to the end and then download the chat at the end, and you'll have all the links for reference.
All right, awesome. So we're going to get started. And if you have any questions, again, you can put it into that Q&A box, or I think you can also put it in the chat, either one. And then if I see it, I'll address it, or Sally can answer it in the chat. So yeah, don't feel like you can't wait. You have to wait till the end to ask questions. Feel free to ask as we go along. All right, so we're going to get started here. And a little bit about the program. So the Master of Environmental Studies is in the Department of Earth and Environmental Science here at the University of Pennsylvania. We're part of the School of Arts and Sciences. There are 12 schools at the University of Pennsylvania, and we are the largest in the School of Arts and Sciences. And so the Department of Earth and Environmental Science is in Hayden Hall, which is behind me here, and also on the slide. So it's a beautiful old building named after a very famous geologist. So totally appropriate for us to be there. And we started the program Master of Environmental Studies in 1996. So more than 25 years we have been doing this program, and some amazing alumni out there working in the environmental field now. So this is a professional master's program, and you might wonder, well, what's the difference? What does that mean? There are really sort of two types of master's programs. There's the professional master's and there's the research master's. If you know for sure you're going on for a PhD after this degree, you may want to do a research master's because they're very focused on getting you into a PhD program, publications, pure research, that sort of thing. If you are hoping to work right after graduation, and then maybe go on to a PhD later, or you're not sure if you want to go the PhD route or go out and work, this is the program for you. Okay, we do a lot of professional development, and we're really working to get you a job after graduation. That doesn't mean you can't go on for a PhD, and many of our students have done so. Oftentimes they go out, work for a few years, and then apply to PhD programs, and they get in. So it's not a problem. And we've also had students who go right out of our program into a PhD. We treat you a little bit differently in the sense that we push you towards projects that are going to be with our research faculty rather than practical projects that would help you in a job search. Okay, so you can do it either way, but if you absolutely know your life is PhD bound and you're going to be in academia for the rest of your life, a research master's is probably a better fit for you. Okay. All right, so most of our students are focused on getting a job after graduation, and they work in the private corporations, government, and nonprofits and NGOs. They're in all the fields. Now, you might ask, why study in Philadelphia? I mean, what's Philadelphia have to offer someone that's interested in environmental? I mean, it's a city. It turns out that the city of Philadelphia is an amazing living, learning laboratory. All right, and we have a lot of opportunities to work both on campus, right, in the labs and in the field in the area, but we also have opportunities to work with the city, okay, and with consulting companies and nonprofits in the city. So there's a lot of opportunities to work and doing so many interesting things, from like energy audits to sustainability projects, green infrastructure. There's just a lot of different things that you can do. So again, here I have listed green infrastructure with the Philadelphia Water Department. And if you don't know what green infrastructure is, it's basically managing stormwater runoff with green solutions such as green roofs, water gardens, swales, other sorts of green things, as opposed to gray infrastructure, which is pipe and vats and other ways of managing the water. So Philadelphia has committed to green infrastructure wherever they can, and there's opportunities to go out and see those projects in action, be involved with some of these projects, and work not just in creating and developing these projects, but also on education, both at the K through 12 level on all the way up to private citizens and what we can do. There's a sustainability office at the City Hall, and they do amazing projects across all the sectors. There's the energy office, which includes Solarize Philly, which is a really great opportunity to get involved with putting solar panels on the roofs of low-income households. And we also have the U.S. Forest Service Urban Research Station here in Philly that's doing projects with micro watersheds, flooding issues, as well as urban forestry and so forth. And we also have the headquarters for EPA Region 3 here in Philly. So again, opportunities to work with the Environmental Protection Agency. So just really, there's so many opportunities within the city. And that's not even including going out to the Poconos or the Pine Barrens or the Great Swamp and so forth, and getting field experience as well. The university itself is also a living learning laboratory. And President Gutman back in 2007 signed the American College and University President's Climate Commitment, and that continues today, even though she's no longer with us. She's moved on. So our current president has recommitted to this. We are committed to reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. We've done one of the biggest solar projects in the state, and we're now working on Climate Action Plan 3.0, which we do annual assessments of how we're doing, and that one just came out. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but it's terrific that they do that every year to show our progress and also where we can improve. And oftentimes those areas that are in need of improvement become projects for our students. You can see here this picture of Penn Park, which is, it's not only this amazing athletic field, but it's also a major green infrastructure project that prevents water from flooding onto the Schuylkill Expressway, which you can see is that roadway between the park and the river. And that had been notoriously an area of flooding in the past. It no longer floods thanks to our green infrastructure project there, which includes vats under one of the soccer fields, swales, and many rain gardens as well. We have our own green infrastructure projects, which includes Penn Park and Shoemaker Green, which is right across the road from Hayden Hall. And that's another massive green infrastructure project that has prevented water from flooding 33rd Street, which is the street we're on. In the past, you could get water so deep that cars could not drive through it. That does not happen anymore thanks to this project. We also have the nanotechnology building that was just built, and that has a green roof, and also the entire grounds around this brand new building are, again, green infrastructure controlling stormwater runoff. We have over 6,000 trees on our 300-acre campus, and that doesn't even include our arboretum up in Chestnut Hill. So an amazing number of trees that lends itself well to urban forest projects. And we are now a national arboretum on our main campus, which is really exciting and has afforded us a lot of opportunities to learn about management of trees in cities. We also have opportunities to work on resilience and adaptation projects across the campus, and as well as sustainability projects with energy performance of buildings and so forth. So lots of opportunities. And Sally's putting lots of links in the chat, and we can also send those to you via email. Now, in addition to the opportunities that are physically on the campus, we also have some centers that are really a great opportunity to get involved with. And one of them is the Water Center at Penn, which is housed in the Department of Earth and Environmental Science. It is run by a former head of the Philadelphia Water Department who started this center to look at water policy, hydrology, water infrastructure. There are student opportunities for research funding, seminars, conferences, and internships. And really, if you're interested in water, there's so many different angles: sustainability, policy, resilience and adaptation. There's so many different angles that you can get involved with. They have massive projects. I invite you to check out their website to see what projects they're working on right now. But there are always student interns or research assistants working on these projects along with the faculty. We also have the Penn Center for Science, Sustainability, and the Media. This is a brand new center that just started in the fall, so we're still getting up and running on that, but that is headed by Michael Mann. And this center is really focused on communicating climate and sustainability to the public in various ways through media, blogs, and so forth. And so if you're interested in that sort of area, like how do you communicate these issues to wide audiences, then this is definitely a center you'll want to get involved with. We have research opportunities, writing opportunities, blogs, and so forth. So there's really so many ways that you can get involved with that center. We also have the Kleinman Center for Energy Policy. This is housed in the School of Design, and they work with energy policy, sustainability, renewable energy. Lots of student opportunities to get involved with seminars and conferences, but also they have paid internships, research opportunities. There's a podcast you can get involved with. So again, check out their website. They have this. They have a drop down for student opportunities right there, and you can also just go and talk to them and see if you can get involved in some way. We have multiple students working in all of these centers now. So there's also the Wharton Risk Management and Decision Process Center. So Wharton School of Business, many people have heard of that. You, as a Master of Environmental Studies student in the School of Arts and Sciences, can get involved in this center, even though you're not a Wharton student, okay? And they have student opportunities to do research, to work on seminars and conferences, and get to meet all of these people who are working in the risk field, okay? So if you're interested in business risk, environmental risk, climate risk, this is a place to go and work and get some experience. So our faculty in the department includes both research faculty and professional faculty. So when you take classes, you may be taking classes with our research faculty that are more working in more of the theoretical fields, and the more they generally are working in areas of soil and atmospheric chemistry, geochemistry, hydrology, plastics. They have a wide variety of topics that they're all interested in. We have one that's doing biogeochemistry. And then we have our professional faculty, and they come from a lot of different organizations in the Philly area, including the Willistown Conservation Trust, Suez Water, the EPA, of course, because they're right here in town, environmental consulting, the World Resources Institute, and I could go on. So lots of great opportunities to have people in the classroom who are doing this right now in their jobs and are coming in the evening to talk to you about what they do, right? And teaching you how to do what they do. So it's a great opportunity also to get involved and potentially get internships with their companies and so forth. Now, so if that hasn't convinced you yet to join the program, I'll give you a little bit about our curriculum. So first of all, we have a multidisciplinary approach to the study of the environment. And this is probably what makes us more unique and different from other environmental master's programs you may have looked at so far. The program is really tailored to the goals and background of each student. So we're going to look at your undergraduate major, your experiences and internships and jobs, and then look at your goal, whatever you want to do next, and try to figure out how to get you from where you are to where you want to be. So everyone's curriculum looks a little differently. So environmental sustainability is one of our most popular concentrations. And yet, if you looked at 10 students across our sustainability concentration, they would all have different classes on their transcript. And that's because they're coming from different backgrounds and they have different directions that they're going, because just like the environment in general, sustainability is very broad, right? You can do business sustainability, you could do resource sustainability. There are just so many different areas. You could do sustainability education. And so depending on where you're headed, you'll be taking different classes. And those classes can be within our department for sure, but you can also take classes in other schools at Penn. All right, so you can take a Wharton class, you can take a School of Design class, you can take an engineering school, a law school class, okay? We have social policy and practice has nonprofit leadership courses. So there's just a great opportunity to craft a program that is specific to you and your goals. All right, so let's take a look at the curriculum. It's 12 courses. course is typically 1 credit unit at Penn, which is equivalent to 3 semester hours. So it's equivalent to 36 semester hours of work. All right. And there are 3 required courses. There's something called the Pro Seminar. It's a Contemporary Issues in Environmental Studies. And in that course, if you do not have a background in the sciences and environmental studies and so forth, it's essentially an introduction to environmental studies and all of the sciences and stuff that go into that. And that's half of the class. The other half of the class is a group project. Okay, so a program, a project for the entire class. This year, we took a small town in upstate New York, and we created a climate action plan for them. All right, so each group, we divided the class up into small groups, and they each had a particular area to work on, whether that was community education, climate risk, energy efficiency. They each had their own part of the project to work on, and they created a report at the end, which has been given to the board. And then the representatives from the class will be going up next month to present that to the board. So you do a real world practical project in that class. You also have a research methods class, all right? And that class will be based on what you plan to do for your research. So it's different for everyone. Could be geographic information systems, mapping, it could be statistics, it could be a field course. It really depends on what your final project is going to be and what kinds of skills you need in order to complete that project. Then there's the Capstone Seminar, and the Capstone Seminar is where you choose your topic, write your proposal, get your committee together, get approved, put your project management plan together, and get going on your research. So you take your pro seminar in the first semester, your capstone seminar in the second semester, and then you spend the next year taking classes and working on your research. Okay. In addition to that, you have 4 foundation classes, and these classes are in areas related to your focus. So say you chose environmental sustainability as your concentration. You would take 5 courses in sustainability, and then you would take 4 courses outside of that sustainability focus, but that are helping you in some way. So it could be an environmental law class, an environmental policy class. There's lots of different options there. Yeah, so Megan's asking about the dual degrees, and I'm definitely going to talk about that in just a little bit. So hold that for a few minutes, and if I don't get to it, remind me, okay? All right, so those are the courses that you'll take, and let's see here. So what are the concentrations? There are 6 options for you. There's environmental biology, sustainability, policy, resource management, urban environment, resilience and adaptation. And then if none of those appeal to you, you can do individualized. All right. And that's where you craft your own program, give it the name that you want. We have a lot of people doing energy management as their individualized concentration right now because it's very popular. It certainly can fit within environmental sustainability easily, but a lot of people just want to give it that special name, so they do individualized. All right, so when you apply to the program, you're going to pick one of these. Now, a lot of people say, oh, I don't know which one to pick. I don't know. Just rest assured that once you're admitted, you have a year basically to decide if that's the concentration you want or if you want to change. Okay, so you have a full year to decide by the end of your first year in the program, because it's a 2-year program if you go full time. You'll want to decide by the end of your first year what your concentration is going to be so that you can make sure all your courses line up and you're not having to take extra courses at the end of your program. Okay, so you do have time to change, and it's not a problem. At least half of our students do change because they are exposed to all these different fields, and they learn about other options for careers, and suddenly they're like, oh, I didn't mean to do policy, I actually meant to do resilience and adaptation, and we can change that very easily. Now, in addition to those courses, just to give you an idea, we do have some field courses where you can go out in the field and learn about, do some hands-on research in the field. And these courses include the field study of Puerto Rico ecology. So we have a class going down there for spring break this year. We have birds as bioindicators. It's an ornithology class, also looking at how birds are indicators or first indicators of issues that you might see in the environment. So one question here in the chat is there a good program focused on wastewater treatment? So do you mean, is there like a master's program in wastewater treatment, or do you mean, is there like a, I guess, so we do not have a wastewater treatment master's program at Penn. Yeah, so you could definitely focus on wastewater, but we don't have a master's program in it. Okay, that helps. Okay, and we also have creating gateways to the land through smarter conservation, which is looking at farms as ecosystem biodiversity centers, which most people think of farms as being bad, but this group at Willistown Conservation Trust has really focused on how you can farm sustainably and make it a good biodiversity center for lots of different organisms. Lexia is asking if it's possible to take classes at nearby universities like Temple. You can, but those courses would not count towards your program. Okay, you can certainly take classes while you're at Penn, but we generally expect that you'll just take your classes at Penn while you're here. Okay, good questions. All right, so other field courses include the future of water, which is the trip is down to Washington, D.C. to meet with lobbyists and political people to learn more about the water issues. We also have one that is called Water in the 21st Century, where you actually go to a wastewater treatment facility to learn more about that. So there are some courses that are field courses, but in the sense that you're going to be traveling places on field trips, but not necessarily outdoors. The other piece of the program, so you have your 12 courses, and you also have to do that capstone, which I mentioned early on. And the capstone requirement is a 1-year-long project. We prefer applied projects as opposed to theoretical projects. So we want something that could be used right away. Ideally, you might want to work with a potential employer on a project or work on something related to the field that you want to go into after you graduate. So you can work with a current employer or potential employer. You can work with one of our centers on one of their projects. But we really want it focused on your career goals so it can help you get a job once you graduate. Some example capstones here: energy efficiency financing, sustainable transportation systems, agroecology, roles of trees on an urban campus, and life cycle analysis. We have a lot of students doing life cycle analysis to show their ability to do that. So when they go for job interviews, they can talk about their ability to do a life cycle analysis of a product. Okay, so that's very popular. By the way, all of these pictures that I'm putting up are pictures of our students in various places, and so that you can see, you know, what they're doing, which is kind of fun. Okay, professional development. So again, this is a professional master's program. So in addition to working on your coursework, on your research, we're also going to be helping you with getting a position after you graduate. So we start at the very beginning of the year. Before you even start the program, we have what we call our first year retreat. We get together at an off-campus location and you meet your academic advisors. We work on networking skills. You can hear from current students about their experiences in the program and some of the projects that they're doing. And we give you all the Penn resources that are available to you that you should take advantage of while you're here. They're enormous. There's so much going on. Then about a month later, we have a second retreat because there's just so much information and you're just starting out. It's better for you to sort of get started in your classes, and then we give you another retreat to get going. And the second retreat actually is open to everyone. So the first retreat is just for folks coming in for the fall. And then the second retreat is for students who have already been here for a year, as well as our new students. So, and at that event, we have research opportunities. We talk about what's available for you, finding the perfect job or internship. So we give you some skills and some ideas on how to do that. Negotiating salaries if you're starting to get job offers. Some of our second years are in that position. And we also have an alumni meet and greet at the end. So you get to meet some alumni, talk to them about what they're doing, make some connections there. So it's all about networking and so forth. Here we have Valerie Vincent talking about her internship experiences. She now works for Kraft Heinz as one of their sustainability officers, and she's teaching a course for us on sustainable management strategies. We also have an alumni panel every year, and this is where we have our graduate advisory board, which is our student government, invites alumni to come and talk about their experiences and their opportunities and what they liked and didn't like about the program, who are the best professors, whatever you guys want to ask. You are the audience and you get to ask them questions, but it's also an opportunity to network and potentially get internships or even jobs. We also offer certifications. So in addition to your classwork, you have the opportunity to do LEED Green Associate certification, greenhouse gas inventory. There's now a life cycle analysis certification that you can get, and we bring that to you. HAZWOPER 40-hour training, which allows you to go onto environmental consulting sites. And we also, if you take the floodplain management class in the fall, you can sit for the floodplain manager's certificate. So lots and lots of opportunities which we subsidize, and Sally does all the coordinating and gets everybody into the classes. Most of them are online now, and then you get the certificate at the end. You can put that on your resume on LinkedIn so that you're a really great fit for some of these positions that you're applying for. Dual degrees. Okay, so here's your answer, Megan. We have a lot of dual degrees, and it's a really great opportunity if you're going to be here anyway to get a second master's degree along with the first. And here are some of the ones, well, these are the ones that we have. So with the Wharton School of Business, we have the the MBA. So you can get the MBA and the MES at the same time. So environmental business sustainability, very popular right now. With the law school, you can get either a JD, which is the most common, so you can be a lawyer, or they also have a Master of Law, and that's becoming very popular with our students because you really need to understand the law when you're working in some environmental situations. With School of Medicine, we have the Master of Public Health. With the School of Design, we have City Planning, the Master of City Planning, or the Master of Landscape Architecture. With the vet school, you can get your Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, you get your vet degree and your environmental studies degree at the same time. And this lends itself to the One Health concept, which is humans, animals, and the environment. So it's a really great program that the vet school is engaged with the medical school, and then we're the third piece, the environment. So lots of great opportunities there. Within the School of Arts and Sciences, we have the Master of Public Administration as a dual degree. And I guess I'm missing the nonprofit leadership. Sorry, I forgot to put that on there. The School of Social Policy and Practice has a master's degree in nonprofit leadership, and you can get a dual degree with them. Okay. In addition, there's an opportunity to work with Minh Pre Tech and Tsinghua University on a triple master's, or what we call the multi-master's program in environmental management. And you start here at Penn. You take 8 courses with us, then you apply to this program. So you don't apply right now. You wait till you get here. You apply once you're here and you've got some grades on your transcript. And then you go to Tsinghua for 3 months, and you go to Minh Pre Tech for 4 months. You do a 6-month internship, and you submit the results of that internship as your master's thesis for all 3 schools. And when you're done, you get 3 degrees. You get an environmental management degree from Minh Pre Tech. Tsinghua University gives you a master's of environmental engineering, and we give you the Master of Environmental Studies program. So 3 different parts of the world looking at environmental issues, sustainability. It's a really incredible opportunity. Okay, with all of these degrees, you do have to apply separately to both programs, right? So if you wanted to do the MBA and the MES, you would apply to the MES program and the MBA program, ideally at the same time, but you can be in one already and apply to the other in your first year. So that's allowed for all of the programs. And then once you're admitted to both, we combine your degrees and we work with you to get you through the program. Okay, and most times, because you're allowed to double count courses across the 2 master's degrees, you can typically finish in a shorter period of time than if you did them separately. So it's cheaper and less time. Okay, does that answer your question, Megan? Well, I'm going to move on, but let me know if you have any more questions in that area. Okay, in addition to the dual degrees, if that seems like a lot for you, it's a lot of extra, it's probably going to require at least another year of schooling. You could do a certificate instead. And typically the certificates are 5 credits. 2 of the 5 credits can be double counted towards the master's. So we have 12 CUs for our program and then another 3 for a certificate. So with 15 courses, you can get the Master of Environmental Studies and a certificate. Okay. Some of the certificates that are most popular with our students are the Geographic Information Systems or GIS certificate, the Land Preservation, Resilience and Adaptation, and Energy Policy certificates. Those are the most popular. And there's also a law certificate that you can get from the law school. Okay, there are others out there that students have participated, including one in the vet school. It's part of the One Health program, and in the nonprofit leadership program. So you can get a nonprofit certificate. So once you get here, we can talk about those. Typically, you apply for those in your first or second semester of the program. Okay, that's our curriculum. And now we have our student groups. So we have our graduate advisory board, and this is our student government. So these are our students who are liaison between the program, the students and our program. So Sally meets with them frequently, and they plan events such as alumni panels, coffee hours, which we have every month, happy hours, and then they've done some other things I've listed here, like ice skating and wine tasting, haunted houses, rock climbing. It's really up to the students. They decide what they want to do. They have funding for these events, and they're open to all the students. So it's a really great opportunity to get involved in some student government. In addition, we have something called the WH2O Journal of Gender and Water, and that is currently housed in the Penn Water Center. And you are able to get involved with that and be an editor. So you get to see what's behind the scenes. We have people submitting articles from all over the world, pure research for the most part. And you would review an article with a faculty member. So the 2 of you would get together, review an article, decide whether or not it would be accepted for the journal. And then you would work with the authors to make sure that it's appropriate and in good shape before it's published. So it's a really great opportunity to get involved with publishing from the other side, right? And you have the opportunity to write on blogs or to write articles for the journal itself. Okay. Other opportunities that are available to you, we have student research opportunities, not only on campus, like I said, and also with the city, but also with some other groups in the area. Like I said, the Northern Research Station for the U.S. Forest Service is in the city. You can work with them. Tacony Frankfurt Watershed Partnership has opportunities to do research, as does the Stroudwater Research Center. These are all places in the area where you can work. Sounds like a lot of water. We do other things besides water, but water is a big part of our department. And so we have a lot of connections there. Okay. Obviously, we do sustainability, energy, and many other things. We also, students do extracurriculars. If all the certifications aren't enough for you, you can do, we've had students work on these intractable problems in West Virginia. I won't get into too much detail there, but that's a project with the Environmental Protection Agency where there are small unincorporated towns in West Virginia that do not have running water. Okay, and they need some help, but they're so small and they don't have a voice in government, so they have no way to obtain funding. So our students are working on ways to help them with these issues. The EPA Rainworks Challenge, our Penn students won last year. It was pretty exciting. And that was a project to install a rain garden at a local middle school and then work on some curriculum and education to help them understand why these sorts of projects are important. We had students participate in the Patagonia case competition, and Penn students won 3rd place 2 years ago. And that's something that you can get involved with. That was a inter-school project where we had students from our program, the School of Design, and the law school working on it. Okay, and then there's the AAAS case workshop. Actually, that's going on now, and you're invited down to Washington to learn more about science and how that plays in political areas. So lots of great opportunities to get involved there. We actually have one student student who was just chosen to represent the programs at the UN on a committee for water. So again, lots of water things. Again, we do more things besides water. I'm just giving some examples. There are opportunities to publish, and you certainly are encouraged to, but not required to publish while you're here at Penn. You can publish your independent study work, your capstones, other projects that you do outside, like with these organizations. And you can collaborate with faculty on these or some local organizations like the Stroud Water Research Center. They're always looking to publish if you're interested in that. If you think you might go on to a PhD at some point, it's a good idea to try to publish while you're here, and we can help you with that. We encourage you to present at conferences. You can certainly attend conferences and get a feel for them. It's a great networking opportunity and to see what's out there. But we also encourage you to present your research. And we also have some funding to help you go to these conferences and present. We have quite a few special events. One of them is the All Ivy Environmental Career Fair. It's typically held at Columbia University in Manhattan. Unfortunately, for the last couple of years due to COVID, it's been virtual, but we hope maybe next year it'll be on the campus. We rent a bus just for our students and take them up, and it's a great opportunity to meet companies that are looking for students to do internships and jobs. Students actually do on-the-spot interviews, and we've had a number of second-year students get offered positions that right on the spot at this conference, at this career fair. And they're like, oh, well, but I'm not graduating till May. And they're like, that's okay, you can start in June. So it's a great opportunity to see what's out there. I encourage my first year students to go and just see what's available and maybe look for internships, and my second year students to start looking for jobs. We also have our graduate research conference, which is at the end of March. You're all invited, where our students are presenting their posters, and we have outside organizations coming in that they do tables and talk about what's available at their companies. So that's a really great opportunity as well. Internships, we absolutely encourage you, if you're not already working full-time, to do an internship while you're here. And we send out emails every week with opportunities that you can apply for. We're not going to say, okay, let me place you in this position, but we're going to send you all the stuff that you can apply for. And the majority of our students who are full-time students get internships in their first summer. And some of them continue on into the following fall. We occasionally have students who are getting internships during the semesters as well. So that's an opportunity. Some places: Philadelphia Water Department, the EPA, the Urban Research Station, FMC, which is located on the edge of our campus, has internships. NOAA. These are just some of the local places that some of our students do internships, but they do them all over the place, right? All over the world. Okay, getting close to the end of the hour. Andrea wants to know if you get credit hours for internships. Generally, no, we do not do credit hours for the internships, but we highly encourage that you do them to get the experience put on your resume. Ellie or Sally, do you have something? I guess we don't really have a link for our research conference just yet, but I think we have the date and the time. We can put that in the chat. Yeah, good questions. Oh, Sally's answering. Okay, and then Fatima's asking if the recorded session will be available after, and that's absolutely. Yep. All right, so let's look at the program stats. We currently have 140 active students this semester, 60% female and 40% male, and that reflects our student, our application pool. So basically, that's about the ratio of male to female in our application pool. Our average class size, so if you go to class, is typically 18. Now that's for our classes. If you go to a Wharton MBA class, you may be in a class with 100 students. If you go to the engineering school and take energy management policy, you may be in a class of 100 or 50 students. So, but within our program, we keep our classes at about 18 students, okay? The one big exception is pro seminar. Everybody who starts in the fall takes that together. Yeah, so that's our basic class size. Typical majors, there is no real typical major. Certainly we have environmental studies majors and earth science majors, but we also have biology, geology, economics, English, political science. We have religious studies, business. It's really across the board. What we're looking for are people who are passionate about the environment and are looking to go into the field. So even if you started in say criminal justice and now you want to switch to environmental, there's a place for you here. Okay. International students, it's about 15% of our student body. Here are some of the countries that they are from currently. And some special issues for our international students that people always ask, all of our concentrations are STEM, which means that you can, when you go for optional practical training at the end, you're available for the STEM OPT, all right, which means that you can stay longer, work longer here in the US after you graduate from the program. Okay, and then we also have curriculum practical training, CPT, and that means that you can work at an internship and get paid or work off campus in an environmental field, say in your first summer to get some experience, and that's completely okay to do. Okay, so you are eligible for both of those. People often ask about our alumni positions, and here are some of those. So Paige wants to know if are most students in this program coming from an undergrad degree? I would say probably about 65% are coming from positions, like they're either already working in the field and they're working part-time, or they're working full-time and coming to the program part-time, or they quit their job and they're coming full-time to the program. The other 35% are coming right out of undergrad. So it's mostly people with some good experience. Okay, it's a good question. All right, so these are some of the companies, and certainly we have over 400 alumni from the program right now, and so there are so many different positions. It's, again, environmental is very broad, and then if you say, oh, I'm doing sustainability, that's very broad. So we find that students are going to a lot of different types of companies. Okay, so this is a good question. Alexia is asking about diversity within the program, and we certainly do our best to have a racially diverse program, and we also have something called the CDEIC, which I think Sally has an opportunity she can put in the chat about it's about diversity and equity in the classroom and in the program and in the department. So, and you can certainly be on that board. So we're always looking to improve our racial diversity. It is, like you said, environmental tends to be very white, but we are doing our best to diversify wherever we can. So, yep. I should probably have those stats of what our race distribution is. I don't have them on hand, but if you're very interested in that, please email me or Sally, and we will get you those numbers. Okay. All right, next steps. If you're interested in applying for the fall to August 2023, it's not too late. Our application deadline, our priority deadline has gone by, but we still have some openings that we save until the April 1st deadline. So you have until April 1st to submit your application materials. And we also have a spring intake, so you can actually start in January 2024. And that application deadline is not until November 1st, 2023. Okay, so you still have a great opportunity to get out there and apply both for the fall semester and the spring semester. Okay, great. And then I'm just reading really quick. Okay, so application requirements. The LPS application is online. I didn't mention LPS. So LPS is the College of Liberal and Professional Studies. The School of Arts and Sciences is so large that we have 3 colleges, and we're part of the College of Liberal and Professional Studies. And that is for our applications and administrative, like getting you ready for classes and things like that. Again, academically, we're in the Earth Environmental Science Department, but for your administrative stuff, you're in the College of Liberal and Professional Studies. So they have the application, and it's online. There are 3 application essays, and the first one is, how did you become interested in the environment? The second one is, what would you like to do while you're here at Penn? Like, what kinds of courses would you like to take? What is your focus area, your concentration, that sort of thing. And the third question is, what would you like to do once you graduate from the program? Like, where do you want to go next? And, the readers, we have several faculty that are reading the applications, and they're really looking for a well-rounded student who clearly from the recommendation letters is interested in the environment, even if they didn't have an environmental undergraduate degree. And even if they're not working in environmental right now, if they can show that they are very interested in the environment and have a passion for it, that's what they're looking for. They're also looking to make sure that this is a good fit. This program is a good fit for you. So if you say, I want to get a PhD, this is all I've ever wanted to do, they might say that might not be a good fit for you, and may decide that that's not the best. It may not admit you because there's like, oh, well, if that's your goal, you really should do a research master's. Okay. But they're looking to see that you understand the field and that you understand where you want to go with the program. Okay. So those are the essays. There is an application fee. They want transcripts from all your colleges and universities that you've attended. If all of your colleges and universities were in the US, you can submit unofficial transcripts, but if you get admitted, then you have to submit your official ones in order to be fully admitted. Like, basically, we send you a letter and say, okay, we want to admit you, please send us your official transcripts. If you're applying, in your school was in another country, even including Canada and the UK, if it's not in the US, you have to do an evaluation like WES or CertFile. There's a link that explains what you have to do, but basically you send your transcript to one of these organizations, then they send us a report on your transcript and your grades and so forth. Okay. We also want your resume. All right. And make sure that's updated and clearly reflects what you're doing right now. And then if English is not your first language, you're also required to take a language proficiency exam, and that can be either the TOEFL or the IELTS, either one. We're looking for about a 100 on the TOEFL, and I think it's like a 7 on the IELTS. So if English was not your first language, but you did your undergrad, say in the US, or you're living in the US now, and you feel that your English is quite good, you can apply for a waiver to that requirement. You would just email us and ask for a waiver and why, and then they would let you know if that can be done. Okay, so typically what you would do is you would submit your application, and then you would email and ask for the waiver, and then they would let you know. It's actually decided at the College of Liberal Professional Studies level, not at our level. So they decide through English language programs if you would have to take the test or not. And again, 2 letters of recommendation. If you're coming right out of undergrad, you would want to do 2 letters of recommendation from professors, or it could be one from a professor and one from, say, an internship supervisor. If you've been out for a while and you're not really keeping in touch with your undergraduate professors, I would say 2 letters from supervisors or colleagues in your position would be the best bet for you. Somebody who knows you now, knows what you want to do, and can speak to your abilities to write, communicate, and your interest in the field. Okay. So those are the requirements for the application. And let's see, financing your education. I think there was actually a question. Yeah, Shannon asked about that. All right, so financing your education is, we do not have scholarships or funding through the university or through the school or the department. A lot of our students, if they're US citizens, typically will get subsidized student loans through the banks. A lot of students are working and they can get company tuition benefits. Some of them get external scholarships, they say through NSF or some other organization, and we have a list of outside organizations that students have gotten funding from in the past. If you're an international student, oftentimes there are government scholarships that you can get. We do have TA positions, teaching assistant positions, but they are semester to semester. So it's not like we're going to email you and say, hey, here's a package, you get 2 TA positions. You would apply for that once you're admitted to the program. And then we would let you know over the summer if you got a position for the fall or the spring, okay? And those typically pay about $4,000 per semester, so $1,000 a month. So they're not going to pay a lot in terms of your tuition. They might help cover some of your other expenses like rent and food, but again, you probably have to get some outside funding for the tuition. We can cover capstone research funding. So if you have projects that you're doing that require travel or lab analysis or materials, we can help cover that. And we can cover what we call travel subvention to conferences and other travel for your capstones and that sort of thing. Okay. And all right, so it looks like there are a lot of questions. So I'm just going to go through. I'm going to start with, okay, so I think that I answered the question about funding. And then in terms of strengthening your applications relative to people working in related fields, if you have volunteer experiences, internship experiences, that certainly will help. And if not, you just need to speak to your interest in the field and your experiences, classroom work and things that you've done in the maybe research or projects that you've done for classes. That will help strengthen your application. So Anonymous just said, do you have alumni who go into consulting after the program? Absolutely. So we have environmental consulting, which is typically in engineering firms. We have people going in for resilience and adaptation, environmental consulting, which is cleanup. And then we also have people going into like sustainability consulting. So they're looking at helping companies become more sustainable. So yes, lots of different consulting covers a huge area. In a lot of fields. So yes, we do have people going into consulting. Okay, and then Ellie's asking, or Eli, sorry, how many opportunities outside of classes should students get involved in so they still get extra experiences but don't overwhelm themselves with responsibility? Great question. This is something that we warn our new students about. It's like, it's so exciting because there's so many different opportunities. And that you can actually overdo it, and then all of a sudden you're running into trouble trying to balance classwork, research, and all these other opportunities, right? There's Energy Club, there's just so many things that you can do at Penn. And so we really do encourage you to just pick one or two things to do, at least in the first semester, until you get adapted to the culture, the city, the school, and what your workload is like in your classes. And then in your second semester, you kind of jump in and add things if you feel like you can. So that's what we usually suggest. And then Raul's asking, is academic letter of recommendation preferred over professional? Again, if you are coming right out of undergrad, or you keep in touch with your professors from undergrad, absolutely do an academic recommendation. It always is good. But if you're not keeping in touch with those folks and you've been out for a while, I would say go with 2 professional recommendations, okay? But if you're still in school and you haven't graduated yet, you better have at least 1 academic recommendation. Otherwise, it looks a little odd. Like, why didn't you get any professors to write for you? Like, what's going on? You only have internship. So try to balance that, right? So maybe do 1 academic, 1 internship person, or 2 academics if you're still in undergrad or have just finished. If you've been out for a while, it's totally appropriate to just do 2 from your industry, okay? Colleagues, supervisors, that sort of thing. And then the other question is, do you think this program is appropriate for someone pursuing a career in corporate sustainability? Absolutely. We have people right now who went through the program who are working at Aramark, FMC, Johnson & Johnson, Kraft Heinz, IKEA. I can go on, but basically they're working in sustainability offices in those companies. Okay, so there's a lot of great opportunities to get into corporate sustainability. Again, we try to get you into internships right away so that you get the experience, and then it looks really good when you go out to apply for positions. Okay, yes, so the next question is about our classes solely in the evenings. Our classes are all in the evening, and that's because we want to make our program available to people who are working full-time. So you can work full-time and go to our classes at night. However, if you decide you want to take a class at the Wharton MBA program School of Design's city planning department, engineering's courses in energy management, energy policy. Those classes are all during the day. Okay, and so that's a good question in the sense that I want to make that clear to people. If you're doing the program part-time because you have a full-time day job, those classes may not be available to you unless you can get time off from work. Okay, but if you're a full-time student and this is all you're doing, you can do the day classes and the night classes. The nice thing about having the night classes, and I always try to impress this upon students, is that frees up your day to participate in all these extracurriculars, right? Whether that be an internship, if that's volunteering, working in one of these clubs, doing one of these certifications, it frees up your day to do those things, okay? Just let me tell you that you will be busy, okay? You're gonna be happy you have the daytime free, but it does also allow you to take the classes in these other schools, all right? Is the GRE score part of the application process? No. So our department 2 years ago decided to remove that from the requirements. You absolutely can put it in if you're very proud of your scores and you want us to look at those, but there's no requirement for GRE anymore for the Master of Environmental Studies. The question is the total cost both years of the program $27,000? So we do a la carte, which means that we charge by the course. And I think Sally put in the chat the link to the our tuition costs. And I would say so it's per course, and you have to take 12 courses, okay? So if you go to that page, it'll show you one semester if you take, 1, 2, 3, or 4 courses. So the most you can take in a semester is 4 courses. So it'll show you the breakdown of the charges, and she just put it in the chat room. So if you click on that, you'll see a box, and it has 1 course. This is the cost, including the fees and everything. 2 courses, 3 courses, and 4 courses. So you can see that breakdown. So you would want to multiply that by your 12 courses, right? So if you took 1 course a semester, so you'd want to take that number times 12. If you went with 4 courses a semester, that would be times 3 semesters. So you take that number at the bottom, multiply by 3, okay? I hope that answers your question. Great questions, guys. It's terrific. Oh, one other thing, we have social media. So if you're interested, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook just to see what our students are up to. Both of these are for the Department of Earth and Environmental Science. So you'll also see what our faculty are doing, our PhD students, our undergrads, and also our master students. So you can see, the whole population of Earth and Environmental Science and what we're up to. All right, well, we're just coming up on 1 o'clock. We'll hang around for another minute or two in case anyone has any additional questions. You guys did a really great job of asking questions, and I think Sally's got a lot of links in the chat. We will send you, if you've signed up and registered for this webinar, we will send you a PDF of this slideshow, and I think a link to this webinar, which will include the chat in it, so you can actually click on the video. Yeah, no problem, Alexia. It's great to have you here today.